Russia cannot be grasped by reason. Russia must be believed in. The messianic notion of being a chosen people. Believing to be a chosen people, the Russian national state is for the Russian mind a God-given task in an historical as well as metaphysical destiny. This notion is the driving force behind Russia's historical expansionism, its pronounced otherness and incomparability towards the West, and, most important from the perspective of recent history, it is the chief character in what the West observes as Russia's defiance towards the modern so-called universal principles of human rights, democracy, and liberal society. From a Western perspective, these principles are indeed universal, and regarding them as such has become the common denominator of a westernized global society. They are said to mark the progress of humankind and are viewed as achievements that set our time apart from the past. In Russian eyes, however, this stance is not only a blatant imposition of power and dominance, forcing an ideology on the world in order to gain hegemony also in real, that is, political, economical, and military terms, but more importantly it displays ignorance and lack of humility concerning the grander scheme of history and the unfolding of human civilization from a metaphysical perspective. In the Russian view of what one might call the realization of world spirit in the Hegelian sense, the Western fundamental principles are irrelevant, misconceived experiments that have enjoyed some success, but that are ultimately feeble and not destined to shape human history in the bigger scheme of things. The situation in Russian eyes is that the sweeping success of the Western model is but a temporary phenomenon, which is not grounded in a fundamental understanding of the metaphysical makeup of reality, that is, the relationship between individual, society, ruler, nature, and God. The system of individual rights and liberties, fundamental democracy, and the quest for understanding, respect, and ultimately global equality and peace is from the perspective of Russian metaphysics a perversion where man has ascended to the role of omnipotence, thus dethroning both Tsar and God, and the need to believe in destiny. This is because in Russian eyes the basic and undeniable fact of human life is to be conditioned and in the hands of an otherness, that is, destiny, history, and God. To claim full control of all aspects of reality in history is the same as denouncing God. The current effort to make all men join forces and cooperate in a world void of divine power, which is the project of the West, is in Russian eyes not only futile but also opting for less than one should. For the fundamental belief is that it is better to be a man in a world ruled by God and Tsar than in one ruled by people, simply because with the rule of man all mystery disappears, and with it true beauty, true meaning, true danger, true courage, and most of all the profundity of destiny itself. In short, man is robbed of a set of existentials that are infinitely more powerful than simple happiness in the Western sense, that is, in the form of peace, prosperity, and success in personal pursuits. One can say that the notion of happiness is the key word here. For the Russian and Slav mind, happiness is simply not that important. Happiness is trivial, happiness is infantile, and happiness overshadows things infinitely more important. At least one can say that it is a different notion of happiness that comes into play. Western happiness is associated with love, tranquility, success, and prosperity in material terms. Russian happiness is more about limits and excesses. Life lived to the full, in courageous defiance of death, health, pragmatism, success. It's an exploration of the limits of existence. Things that matter to the Russian mind are not measurable in terms of success and failure. In fact, the concept of success is not compatible with the concept of destiny.